when I was a young boy, and I was left under the custody of my maternal grandmother. My father went and started a new family, remarried and started a new family. My mother went and started another family. So I found myself in the middle.
Yeah.
I could not fit in either of the new families. So I was left under the custody of my maternal grandmother, who was so hiyo ikaniingia kwa akili kabisa that it is possible for me kubadilisha maisha yetu kabisa, yangu na familia yangu and my mother's kids. And that stayed in my mind every time that I am about to give up, and I will remember, if I really want to change my life completely, I have one of the best shot, which is education. And that so I went back to school. The guy facilitated.
Not class
8, class 7.
Class 7.
Juu nilikuwa tu nimeacha, niliingia for term 1.
One term, yeah.
Term 1 mwanzo tu, and things became haywire.
Yes.
Ikabidi ni drop. Sasa tuko third term. So I have not studied first term and second term.
Wow.
Tuko that term. Now, when I went back to school, the words of the old man kept echoing in my mind. And that inspired me to work like never before.
Wow.
And I was reading everything that has been written in my absence. I have borrowed book. I would read overnight.
Copied all notes.
Read. I did not copy them.
Oh, just reading.
I just read. I thought I didn't have the time even to copy, because you can imagine the content studied for 2 terms.
Yeah. It's a huge one.
So I really started, and when we did the indexing exam, that is, I think, the final exam for class 7, I was position 8.
Wow,
out of I think 100 and something.
Wow.
All streams. In our class, I was position 2. Okay, and I was here now in class 8, and people. I remember one of my teacher giving me 50 bob. Because of
performance.
Yes. You are number 2, and he was asking these people, and the guy can go out there for 2 terms
and then come back and beat you people hands down.
and beat you people hands down. But there was something in me that was really driving me. There was that yearning in me that was driving me. Now I've done, and now I'm in class 8. We are supposed to register for exams. So I could not be able to track the old man. He used to go far because of his job.
Yes.
I'm in quagmire again, because I need to pay, I think it was 410, I think 490 for
so
KCP.
You could not access the guy?
Yes, I could not access the guy. So I had to walk to a place called Nyahururu. I have an uncle there. He was one of the uncles who are doing very well in our family, as compared to others. So I walked from a place called Kabazi to Nyahururu, a distance of about 45 kilometers, to go and get this man.
45 kilometers?
Yes. About to go and get this guy to pay for my
school fees,
my KCP. Because again, the teachers told us that if you don't register, you will not do the exams.
Exactly.
Okay. Again, and I'm glad, because I went up to that place, and again I had not gone there. So I have just heard in stories.
Just guessing on your way.
I had heard stories in my grandmother's household when people talk about where he is. Now that was my geography. And I was able to trace him miraculously. And he paid for my KCP registration. I'm grateful up to today, because I don't know whether I could have sat for that paper. So after registration, then I had another obsession. Now I'm registered. I'm sure I'm doing a paper.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm doing that exam. But what next? If I've struggled this much in primary school,
what about high school?
What about high school? And then I started entertaining an idea that I should go back to my father. Because according to the reports that I had heard, my father was doing well. He was doing well, and I hoped that by tracing my way back to him, I would be able to get him to pay for my high school.
All this time, your dad
There
not
was
even reach you?
I could not even recall him, the way he looked like.
Because he left you while young.
Yeah, I was a young boy, yeah? I was a young boy, probably 4 years, 5 years.
So you looked for him?
I decided to look for him. After, I think it was the end of first term. Instead of going home, I decided to go to my father's place. And I was walking. You know, this is a student from a humble background. You can imagine, we did not even have a coin in your pocket. Okay? So I decided to walk again from a place called Kambazi to Nakuru. During that time, after I was tired, I thought that I should just board the vehicle. And nikaingia kwa gari. I have nothing.
In your pocket?
Yes. After a few corners, the conductor requested for the money, which I didn't have. And things were tough because I remember I was beaten actually.
By the conductor?
Yes, but not there. There was a lady there who I was sitting next to. Because when I decided to go to my father, nilikuwa nimetoka nyumbani nikienda shule.
Yes.
And I had carried some civilian, which I changed from the uniform. So I had my uniform in a yellow paper bag. I used to carry my books with a yellow paper bag.
Yes.
I think those of us from Kitambo know the yellow paper bag.
Yes,
it was big.
Yeah, the one that were banned.
Yes, so wakati that lady alichungulia kona uniform hapo, akasema this is a student running away. And she slapped me there and then. And everybody in the matatu was wondering what's wrong with these kids. They just ran away. They are not settled and all that. They don't know the background.
You didn't try.
I didn't say anything. Again, because of issues and problems and circumstances, my esteem was badly crushed. I couldn't speak anything to anyone, or I kept most of things to myself. So the lady decided to pay for my fare to Nakuru and back. And he told the conductor, make sure you bring him back to where you got him, to Kambazi. So tukafika town, the conductor said, despite the fact that that lady has paid, we must teach you how to live with people. Because next time, don't just board vehicles without fare. So they took me to an enclosure up behind the stage. And they whipped me. Alikuwa na ile nyahunyo hivi. You know the one that in a coil hivi.
Yes.
So they would whip me, and there was others there give me advice as they whip. Why are you running away instead of studying? And I was wondering, these people are preaching for the converted. Personally, I love education to the end of the world.
Exactly.
So that day I was not able to go. I went back to my grandmother's place in the evening.
After beating you, they put you on
the same vehicle and back to where I came from. So in the evening, when I went to my grandmother's place, my body is aching, but I could not say anything. I am just suffering in silence because they never knew that I was going anywhere.
You could not say it.
And I could not say it. So after that, the next day, I decided now I'm not going to board any vehicle. I'm going up to Nakuru. From Nakuru, I'll take the route to Narok. So, and I moved, but I did not know even the clear geography of where I was going. Because when I got to Nakuru, instead of going to the stage, I found myself deep into the estates. Where I needed again to pay fare to come to the stage.
The stage, yes.
So by the time I was finding my way to the stage,
how far is it from you said to
Kambazi
to Nakuru?
Kambazi, I think 40 kilometers. I think somewhere there. I'm not sure, but along that range.
So you found yourself in estates?
Yes, I found myself uko Langalanga, and I'm supposed to be in stage. So again, I asked my way to the stage, which I found after again a long walk. So by the time ninajipata stage, it was 6, going to 7, heading to 7.
Evening?
Yes. Number one, I did not want to become to go to the streets.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I slept in the town, there were higher chances of me finding myself in the streets, getting into the street, children gangs and all that. That is exactly what I didn't want. I had a clear focus of what I wanted. So I had to figure a way of getting out of town. And I knew, because I looked around, I did not see a Narok vehicle. But I knew Mau is towards Narok. There was a vehicle there written on Narok. So I decided this is the vehicle that I should board. But again, I don't have fare. I had to create a story, and I started crying. Remember, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I started crying. I had money, but I don't have money, and I was going to Mau. And after several minutes of crying, people don't care. They wanaangalia tu.
No attention.
There were some ladies there who said, "You should carry this kid. Kama alikuwa na pesa imeibiwa, what would happen of him?"
So this lady is advising the
conductor, hata kama atasimama. Yes. So they did not say anything. After now the vehicle was full, the conductor said, "Get in and stand." So that is how I was able to get from town, which was my greatest headache. I wanted to get out of town. From there, whatever happens, I felt safer. So we moved up to Mau, and I alighted from the vehicle. I don't know anybody, and this is not my destination.
What time was this?
About 8.
Wow.
It had rained massively, and the place was muddy and dark. And I remember there was that one shop that
At
was
night.
Yes, there was that shop that stood out of the rest. And that is the shop that I went. And again, I created a story that I've been looking for a person. I have not seen them. I've been here, and I need somewhere to put up for tomorrow. Again, I had that favor. Whatever I said, people believed. And that guy decided to harbor me for that day. I was given food and a place to sleep. Although he did not trust me because he closed the door from outside. I slept in a certain cubicle in the compound, but the door was closed from the outside. But I didn't worry. So in the morning, I decided now to move from Mount Narok to Narok. A distance of about 60 kilometers.
Looking for Dad.
Yes, and there was that spirit and yearning that was driving me. I was not seeing impossibilities. Because right now, if you tell me to move from Kambazi to Narok, when I don't have it, I don't think I will move.
You know you won't.
I won't.
No.
But there was that yearning, there was that drive, there was something that was pushing me. Because again, I had been separated from half of my heritage. I didn't know my father, nor his families. So there was that drive in me that could not see the impossibilities, could not see the handles, could not see the difficulties along the road. So I moved and moved and moved, and I found myself in a place called Orokikrai at 3 o'clock. And we talk asubuhi.
That's 3 p.m.
Yes, 3 p.m. And I have my auntie who is married there. So I went there to her place, and for now I could not tell how I had run away, and there were no phones to confirm whether. So she believed my story. I've come to visit. So I stayed at my auntie's place. We could talk, and I would use. I would ask about my father, but not in an open way. Just in a way not to show that because again, from the stories, my father was not fondly loved by my maternal relatives. They didn't like him so much. So I could not say I was going to him. So after asking about him for some times, I had gathered enough intelligence about him. So I decided one Sunday that I am going to his place, because my auntie's place and my father's place is about a distance of 10 kilometers. It's just different villages in the same location. So one Sunday I decided to go to look for my father. And I moved to where I had heard from our talks where I can get him. So when I go to Enabelbel, that place is where I'm born, Enabelbel, and that is the area I could get him. So when I got there, I decided to look for him, and I had been told his brother is more famous than him, and
Okay.
So I decided to look for his brother because again it was easier for me. So I started asking around about James, and one guy told me James is not here, but that hotel belongs to his brother.
Okay.
And I knew my father. James is my father's brother.
Yeah.
And there are only two in their family. So when I was looking for James, and I was told James is not around, but you can ask about him in that hotel because it belongs to his brother, then I automatically knew that was my father's hotel. So I went to that hotel. Again, I had this kind of panic, I think fear. I could not get in. I just stood there by the veranda. I was wondering what will happen. I have not seen this person. I don't know this person. How am I going to introduce myself? Will he accept me? Yeah, all those things were raising in my mind. And then there is this man comes out of the hotel, goes to a shop to buy something and comes back. So when he was coming back, I rushed and nikainamisha kichwa. That is our customary greetings in Masai for the young boys. So I stooped and he placed his hand on my head and went away. He didn't say anything. So in my mind I thought, this guy knows me.
Was that now your dad?
Yes, he is my father, but I'm not sure, but he is the person in that hotel. And I'm told my father's brother is in that hotel, and he is the only one who is the brother to, and there are only two. So I knew, I had that idea it could be him. So I decided to, I started, those little voices in me, they started again preaching despair. That this guy hates you, he knows you, he hates you, he has nothing to do with you, and all that. And I would feel the urge to go away. But again, when I remember the much I have sacrificed, the things that I've been through to come to this point, I couldn't move. So I was in that quagmire. Fear, despair, and again, that kind of, a lot of doubts. Again, he came out again, and this time round, he looked at me, but he didn't say anything. He went back. Then from inside there, I could hear a lady's voice asking him, who is that boy by the veranda who has greeted you? And my father said, I don't know. So I said, this is the end of it then. I think I could not summon the enough courage to go in and say, I'm Saitoti, your son, and I'm here. I could not say that. So by the time I was about to give up, he came out. And I don't know what happened to him, but probably he felt something. So he came and asked me, who are you? And as he was speaking to me, he was looking from head to toe. And I told him I'm Saitoti. He asked me from which family. I said Salaon. And who is your father? I said Sankale. And Sankale is himself.
He's himself.
And he asked me, do you know the Sankale? And I said, I don't know him. But he is my father. And he said, I am Sankale. Welcome. You've come to look for me? Karibu. You know, in where I come from, people don't show a lot of emotions, like jumping up and hugging and all that. There is a certain narrative of the way you should behave as a man.
True.
Not easily excited. So he was that type of a person. So there was no much fanfare. So I was welcomed.
After the reunion.
So I was welcomed there, nikapewa chai na mandazi in the hotel. We did not even talk much. He called another person there, nikapeleko nyumbani, and that is how I went back to my father's place. And I stayed there for some times, and I was given some money to go back to Nakuru, where I went to complete now my studies. Now I have my father, he's doing well, I have hopes of going to high school, because he told me he will take me to school. So nimerudi huko nikafanya kazi kwa bidii, and I was able to get 322 marks.
Yeah, out of 500.
Out of 500. I think we were the second lot to do out of 500.
Out of 500, yeah.
Because the previous ones were doing out of
it started,
700.
It started in 2000, eh?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think we were because I did 202. We were the second lot. So I had 322 marks despite the challenges and all that. Called in very good schools like Utumishi and all that. But when I did my KCP, nikarudi Narok, hata sikukaa. I decided now to go and live with my father. Yeah, with the hopes that he'll take me to school and all that. So nilipofika nyumbani, my father would tell me, I'm looking for a school for you. So kazi yangu ilikuwa grazing, you know, like any typical Maasai boy. Grazing is the order of the day. So we'd graze with the hope that the school is being sought.
Yeah.
A full year went by. That is the whole of 2 or 3. Bado napelekwa shule. My father used to do a lot of business. He used not to stay at home. So once he comes, probably after 3 weeks, would say, let's see when I come back. Then that is another month. Without knowing it, 2003 came to an end.
Wow.
And now watu wenye tulisoma na wao wameshasoma.
Yeah.
So 2004, the same thing was replaying. And I remember my stepmother ran away from my father's place, and my father was having issues. So I became like a scapegoat. Most of the things would happen, najipata nimefanya makosa, nachapo sana.
Wow.
Because I started working with him in the hotel.
Who was beating you, like himself?
Ananichapa, yes. Sana. Okay, he used to beat people, not only me, but even others. But when it came to me,
it
sounds like more intentional.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even bear with it for so long. So I decided to call it, because even people would tell, this guy will kill you. You know, people also know how to make you feel bad about the situation. But it was a bad situation. I used to, because again of being beaten, there was that psychological effect.
Torture. That
you don't want to do the mistake, and that becomes your obsession, not doing the mistake. You find yourself doing the mistake. Now, wasiwasi usifanye makosa. Hiyo wasiwasi mingi inafanya ufanye hiyo makosa. And then hiyo makosa inakuwa punished there and then it gives you even more of it. So you find it's
messing every time.
It's a cycle. Okay. So I decided to run away from that place. I went to my auntie's place. Yeah. And again, the whole of 2004 I stayed at my auntie's place.
Wow.
So 2005, that is when I went back to my grandmother's place in Nakuru. Now watu ambao tulisoma nao wako form 2.
Yes.
So nikaingia kazi ya milkman. I was working for a certain teacher, and the salary was better this time round.
Not 600.
Hapana, nilikuwa nalipa 1800. And I worked there, and we had those issues. Ile issues zilikuwa tu food and all that. Sometimes nalipa na mahindi and all that. So I think hapo 2005 ndio kukatokea shule. There was a school called Passions International. It was rumored it was there to help the needy and the orphans and all that. So nikaenda huko kutafuta. And I remember they were asking for 3,000. I didn't have 3,000. So mimi nikachimba choo. I dug a pit, a train. I remember I was given that contract. But tulikuwa na watu wengine. So when 3,000 zilifika, nikaacha. Wengine wakaendelea, mimi nikaingia darasa. After one term, the school collapsed. I'm told the directors ate the sponsors' money and all that. So it became the untimely end of that school.
They withdrew the sponsorship.
They withdrew the sponsorship. So nimesoma one term. So I've tasted the school. So I decided, what if I go back to my father and told him, I've studied one term. Why don't you get me a school to continue?
Yes.
And I went back to Narok. Okay. So when I went back to Narok, my father did not say, I'm not taking you to school. The same old story, I'm looking for a good school for you. And the same story continued the whole of 205 until we fell out at some point, because I think somebody must have incited him about it, that I have taken some money from the hotel and all that, which was blatant lie. I was this naive, faithful boy. I believed that these are things. There is that excitement when you did not have the father growing, and now you have the father.
Yeah, true.
So it made you to bear with a lot of things and even love him unconditionally. Hata akikuchapa namna gani, you still feel good that you can see your father. And I don't have the mother right now. He is the only parent that I have.
True.
So that attachment was still there despite of the things, the neglect, the shortcoming, the sufferings and all that. So nikatoka kwake tena. Now this time round, I decided to get to Mau Forest. There is a guy who introduced me to logging, and I became a conductor of the chainsaw. Kuna hii machine ya kukata mbao. The one that splits the wood,
Oh yes. Power saw.
Yeah, the power saw. Yes. The power saw. So I became a conductor of the power saw, and tukaingia Mau. After some times we were beaten thoroughly by the KWS Rangers for destroying the forest. And again I thought that was not what I was made for. I decided to quit that work. Nikarudi tena huku nyumbani. So my father and his family were living in town. I was the only one living in the village.
Yes.
So I started working on people's farm. The old story of several yards by the old story. Then we moved from that. Kakua sasa ni kusukuma magari. The road that passes by our place was very impassable during rainy seasons. So, and I don't know why tour companies loved the route. So
because of maybe they are four-wheel drive.
They are four-wheel drive and probably it's a shorter route to Mara from Nakuru. So we used to do that work ya kukwamua magari during the rainy season. And it was tough and it was not dignified. But that is what we used to do. And so to 6 ikabudi nirudi tena kwa shosho, my grandmother's place.
For the second time.
Yes, because now I'm trying to see where I can see the light. Here, after all the struggle, I'm not seeing. There is nothing that I'm looking forward to. Because again, my father has not taken me to school all this time. I'm working on the forest. Tumepigwa na polisi, tumesukuma magari. I really wanted to change the situation.
Yeah.
So I went back to my grandmother's place and found people we studied with. They are now in Form 4.
Wow.
Some of them were far behind me when it comes to performance. And they are telling me, we are going to campus next year. Yeah, ulikataa kusoma. People don't know your story.
Yeah,
they just judgingly tell you things. So I couldn't imagine it. Now, watu ambao walikuwa nyuma yangu darasa, they are now going to campus next year.
Yeah.
And then I remember there is this lady called Beth, and she told me about their principal. He is philanthropic. He can listen to your story. He can take you if you come and speak to him. And I took that to heart. And I went to see the principal. He was called Mr. Kimani from Kieni Secondary School. Currently, he is the principal Koilel. He was in Koilel. Right now, he is in Solai Boys. So I went to Mr. Kimani, told him my story, the whole of it. And I told him I want to study by whatever means possible. I'm willing to do anything. And I remember I even told him I'm willing to become a watchman by night and a student by day.
Wow.
And he told me, okay, we can do many things, but that is impossible. But that is the drive that I had, because I felt that this is my one chance, my very chance to break even.
Yes.
And I did not just say it. I did not just say it. I meant it. Every word of it. I was willing to do anything, whatever it was, to ensure that I proceed with my education, because I really felt that is where my future belonged. So we agreed with Mr. Kimani that I would work for the school over the holidays, over the weekends. I will pay my fees in kind because I had now no money.
Yeah.
And come 2007, 4 years later, the 5th year, I'm in Form 1. The people that I'm with in Form 1 are the people I left in CU. By the time I was in Form 3, I was the deputy school captain, deputy head boy. I was also the CU chairman. In Form 4, I was the CU chairman, I was the school captain. I was all over the place. I couldn't imagine that I was in school, so I really tried to be there.
It was a dream come true.
It was a dream come true. So I really tried to be there. My presence was really felt within the school, and I was working very hard. I remember first 3 years I was always in top of the class. Yeah, not really top, but top 10. I have never drifted from there. Probably when it came to Form 4, I started, my performance started diddling. Probably because I spread myself too thin. I was all over. I was a school captain, CU, nilikuwa 4K club, nilikuwa bado nafanya kazi over the holidays. Yeah. I could still, I was still in drama, in the backup provincial. I was one of the best actors. So my performance was affected by that. When we did our KCSE in 2010, I was able to get a B. Remember, it was a day school.
Yeah.
So I was able to get a B. And,
you really tried with all the struggle.
With all the struggle, and I could have done more. I could have done more if I had that strict focus, because again that focus dwindled at some point. So nimepata B at 61 points. Joint admission board are picking from 63.
You just lucky 2 points.
I'm just lacking 2 points.
Wow.
So, and I'm sure if high school was this hard for me, do you think parallel degree was an impossible? It was such an impossible thing.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
And I really needed to get to job by all means. So nikaamua kurudia with my 61. And I repeated in Anesta Boys High School. Again, God gave me a lot of favor. When I went to Anesta, I found the director. She's called Madam Gatimu. And told her my story and all that. And she took me in.
Just like that?
Just like that. I didn't pay a penny. I didn't pay for the uniforms. I didn't pay for anything. I just came with my bag and got to class. And worked very hard. In Anesta, we really worked hard. We worked hard because I was able to transform my 61 to 74.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you really tried, my friend.
Yeah. So after that, tukamaliza shule sasa nikaitwa Maseno
University.
Yes. So before I went to Maseno, I worked as those days you could teach.
Yeah.
After, if you passed KCSE, you could teach in a high school.
Like a UT.
Yeah, like a UT and trained teacher.
Yeah.
So I was involved in the starting of a school called Oldonyamara Primary School, high school, Oldonyamara Secondary School, which is a very serious high school right now.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And I was one of the pioneer teachers. We did the first admission to that school. And right now it's a government school, fully-fledged, and they are doing very well. So I'm very proud to be part of that.
Yeah.
My name is there somewhere.
Yeah, at least you made history somewhere.
I made history there. And after there, that is when we went to Maseno. I couldn't imagine myself. I am in a university.
After how many
years? The struggle. The struggle. I would just walk in the streets of Maseno in the evening, and I'm just watching people. Sometimes I don't know. I was just a living example of that dreams come true.
Yeah.
The fact that I was just there, forget about anything else. That was an indication that when you dream for something,
can come true.
You work hard for it. you remain persistent, you endure day and night, the troubles, the storms, yeah, you ultimately get it.
Very true.
That was something that even today inspires me. When I look at my story, I see the down times, the up times. I see the challenges. I see the successes. It inspires me, even not the other person.
Actually, your struggle is really. If someone look at it like listen and listen to your story and watch it.
Yes.
It's really because from the down there.
Yes.
While toddler 4 years.
Yes.
Your struggle started while still young.
Yes.
So
yes,
that's why I'm saying it's really.
Yes.
So Maseno.
Nimeenda, I've done political science. Of course, when you study in Maseno, it's political science with IT.
Exactly.
IT is part of is our signature.
Yeah.
So I did political science with IT, and I graduated. Before nimeingia Maseno 2012. I've studied 2012, 2013. 2015, I'm in second year. Things are very tough. I defer.
Oh, you defer?
Yes. Again, because HELB was paying for my fee, my housing, and my meals. So it was almost impossible to do that. Again, one of my siblings behind me was called to a national school. They required a lot of money. So my help could not. Remember, I'm the firstborn, so they look upon me sometimes. So I had again to defer for her sake and my own sake, because I was still struggling, very struggling, because again, after first year in Maseno, the rest of the years you had to get your own accommodation, because accommodation is not their core business.
Yes, not their core business.
So things were very, very hard, and I decided to defer for 2 years. Initially it was 1 year. Then when I came back, there was big strike, which again destabilized. When you have little funds, when there is a strike for almost a month or so, you get destabilized.
Yeah, very true.
So when I deferred in 2015, I went to Nakuru, worked as a clerk in a law firm. I was able to pay for my sister's school fees and do some saving. So when I got back to Maseno, there was big strike. There was a student who was killed by the police and all that. So we went home. There were people destroyed things. We had to go back with some money. Again, I deferred for another year. So nikaenda kusomesha. I was teaching in a school in my home area called Nabelbel. Up to 2016, that is. That is when I went back, now in that year.
2016?
Yes. Went 2016 and 2017, graduated in 2018.
Wow. Finally.
Finally, I couldn't believe it. Nilitembea na gown mpaka soko.
Hey, yani, you are yet to come to terms that this is me.
Not even me, even people who know me. This is you must be working.
After 23 years struggle.
After 23 years of struggling, after 23 years of being unreasonable, because sometimes I was unreasonable. Because what do you tell when I told people that I'm going to school after 4 years? You can imagine the kind of reviews I was getting. That is nonsensical. Forget about that. That is not your lane. If you kama hamna kitu kwenyu, don't be so ambitious. Just take what comes your way. You will not die. See, kila mtu amesoma mwenye. You see, there were those things.
Exactly, because people who are less concerned.
Who are less concerned.
To speak anything.
And I remember, when I was passing around Egerton, Laikipia campus, and I could see people, and I was wondering. I told you I went to my uncle's place to get some the pay for KCP. And I remember as I was working there, Egerton, today is Laikipia University.
It's Laikipia.
They used to be Egerton campus, and I would see young men going to school. I would see they have everything going for them. What happened to us? Why not us? Why the struggle is always on? There are those things, but when you dwell on that, then it will hamper your growth.
Very true.
So what you need to do, know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And follow it with painstaking thoroughness.
So, bro, your story is just, let me say, it's inspiring as much as, as much as it's that touching, but it's inspiring.
Yeah.
Of course, there are people also going through the same, and your story will inspire millions. Yeah. You know, the last thing in life, in fact, personally, I've learned a lot. First thing in life, the last thing one should do in life is not to give up. So, what would you tell the young people outside there? Because, especially those going through your life that you went through,
yeah.
And then also there are those who are just able, but maybe because of circumstances,
yeah.
Maybe because of someone went through because of circumstances, drugs, parents separated and all that.
Yeah.
So what do you advise them?
What I would tell them is, this is your life.
Yeah.
This is your life. And whatever you have in you, not many people know it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your dreams are very personal.
True.
And if you seek validation from people, they can hurt your dreams.
Yeah,
they can tell you that you're not good enough, you're not adequate, you're insufficient,
you're
not the type that succeeds. So down deep in you, there is something that is so big and so vibrant. Let it out. Let it out. That thing, there is that star in you that is waiting to shine.
True.
There is that star in you that is waiting to be unleashed. Go out for it. Whatever that you want, go for it, regardless of the challenges that could be there.
Yeah.
Because again, opportunities come to us dressed as challenges.
Very true.
Okay? There are things out there that are waiting for you to discover them. There is a space and a place for you in the universe that nobody else can fit in.
Yeah.
And it's upon you to go out for it. The dreams that you have are very valid. Very valid. And I want to tell you that, as I said from the beginning of this show, that most of us out here, we are living not even a quarter of our abilities. There is a wonderful world out there waiting for us to discover it. And somebody saying that we are not a drop in the ocean, we are an ocean in a drop. That means there is a lot in us that we have not discovered. There is giftings, potentialities that we have not discovered. There are things that we can do that can revolutionize our world. We have moved from cavemen, now we are in nanotechnology. Those are people doing those things. When you move in this city, the things you see, those are people doing things. The question is, what imprint are you leaving in this world? What legacy are you leaving in this world? We were not made and born to die, to just pay bills and die. We were not made for that. We were made for impact. This world needs you to discover yourself, needs you to achieve your dreams. Because again, we were not made for ourselves, we were made for the world. There is that part of you that makes the world better, a better place. And I want you to discover it. I want you to hang in there, push for your dreams, work for them day and night. It will not be easy, but it is possible.
Yeah.
It is not easy to achieve your dreams. It is not easy. Even surviving is not easy.
Yeah.
Forget about thriving. Surviving itself is not easy. But when you have the dreams and you move towards them with painstaking thoroughness, with great determination, with undivided devotion, you're going to get there.
Okay. Now, after graduation, before you wind up,
yes.
After graduation,
yes.
So what are you up to?
After graduation, I've always done talks. I've been speaking to people. From the fact that I got to school when I was bigger than others, I found myself guiding others. I found myself speaking, and the fact that I was in CU, I became a speaker as early as Form 1. As early as Form 1. So I became a speaker, and I could inspire people just by telling my story without anything.
Very true.
And people, by inspiring people, I would feel good about it. And I felt that probably my story was preparing me for my career.
Very true.
And I decided to dedicate myself to inspire people.
Yeah.
that out there is greater life that we can reach towards. That the moment we move from our self-inflicted cocoon, because most of the time we are the wall we must climb, we are the obstacle we must overcome.
Very true.
So my mission in this life is to inspire people to get deep into themselves and discover the wealth of capabilities that they have, so that they can change the universe, they can change their communities, they can change the world. So once I was in campus and all those times, I have been doing talks in school and all that, but I was doing it for free. So after graduate, nikakuja Nairobi, I worked for a consultancy firm, a management consultant firms, and we worked with corporates, we were building teams, and we were inspiring people. So after that, that is when I started my own company.
Okay. Now, actually, personally, I don't know how to put it, because your story is just maybe what I can tell you was, please, if you are watching this story, be inspired. That's what I can tell, because personally I'm inspired, and I hope this story will inspire many outside there. And as we wind up, I just want to thank my viewers for the time you had watching us here. Without you, we can't make it. Our brother here has brought us a story that will inspire millions. Many people are going through and not outside there. So if you're joining us maybe in the middle of this show, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the like and comment. Tell